Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the A to B podcast, your number one source for military entrepreneurship and entertainment. Guys, unfortunately, today I'm not joined by my co-host, Barry Bull. He's not feeling well today, so please make sure that you guys leave a comment, hoping that Barry feels better. But that's what happens when you go to MCRD San Diego. Okay, you get a boo boo, and then all of a sudden you have to miss work for like 3 weeks. Okay. He wanted me to let you guys know that again he admitted that Paris Island is a way better place than MCRD San Diego will ever be. Okay, so make sure you guys send him a personal DM saying like, Barry, I demand my apology. Okay, I demand my apology. Let him know because he will be watching this and he will be wanting to get you guys' support with that. Okay, guys, like always, every single week we bring you guys a very, very, very special guest. So today we are joined by no other than Derek Reese. Derek Reese, he is an active duty Marine Corps sergeant of 6 years, and we're going to be having a conversation because he is stationed, some people call it where the devil set his nest and he forgot about it. Other people call it Disneyland. In the great words of General Mattis, I think he called, what did he call Twain on Palms? Do you remember what he called Twain on
I
Palms?
don't remember.
Brother,
Albert,
how are you doing
thank
today,
you for having
brother?
me on. You know what? I'm a corporal.
You're a corporal.
Yeah.
What? Well, I'm gonna tell you this though. We gotta talk about that. You've been in the Marine Corps 6 years.
Yeah. Before we get started, I just want to give you this one thing.
I didn't even know he had something for me.
Yeah, I brought the gift of goodie bags. It's just something for all, just a
Oh wow,
coin
that's
right
super
there.
cool,
Yeah,
bro.
that's a TTECG coin.
Thank you,
Let's
brother.
redo that. I didn't like that.
Yeah.
There
you go. There you go. There
Yeah,
you go. I
there you go.
appreciate it, man.
Yeah,
Thank
so that's
you.
a TTECG
Wow, this is
coin.
actually pretty cool. Let me take it out so that way
Yeah.
people in the camera can see it.
It is a cool one.
Yeah, let me see it. Wow, look at this. TTECG. Go ahead and zoom in on this. Look at this. Look at
one of
this.
my
This is
favorites.
nice, man. It says TTECG MACTIF TC MA MACTAF TC Marine Corps Air Ground Combat Center 29 Palms. Hey, this is really nice, man. I appreciate you for this,
Yes,
man.
sir.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, and I was telling you offline, off the camera, just congratulations on the podcast, on the success. Of course, the rate in which podcasts fail is the 8 out of 10 or 9 out of 10 podcasts fail within their first year. So you breaking through that 1 year barrier is it's admirable. So yeah,
I appreciate that, man. Thank you very much. And like I was saying, we couldn't do this without the support of the people out there that not only support the podcast, but also support our personal businesses. This is 100% funded by Ramos Capital and Noble Fitness. So yeah, man. So thank you guys for the support. If you guys need anything that's real estate related or mortgage related or fitness industry related, let us know. I actually started on TRT this week, believe it or
Okay.
not. Yeah, so
That's exciting.
Yeah, so I got with Barry, and I'm not gonna lie. Obviously, I've just done one shot, so I'm not gonna say
So
that.
you just started.
Just started like Monday was my first, so yesterday was my 1st, and yesterday I had a slightly above average workout. It could have been the pre-workout, it could have been the TRT. I really don't know. I'm really looking forward to see some results.
Yeah. So it's good because you have Barry. I mean, he's all about that. Is he guiding you like injected once every 3 days, or how's that going?
Yeah, Mondays and Thursdays.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mondays and Thursdays.
Mondays, Thursdays. Okay.
Yeah, so I mean, and I'm really looking forward to it. It's at the beginning it was kind of scary because obviously it's like a needle or whatever,
Yes.
dude. But it's nothing.
Yeah. I mean, in addition to the physical attributes, you're supposed to look good with higher testosterone, but improve sleep, right? Libido, all that good stuff. Isn't that right?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I guess we'll see. I guess we'll see.
Yeah.
I guess we'll see how it goes. I know. I don't know, man. I feel tired all the time. I'm always working and all. So maybe it could be that.
Yeah.
As you guys can see, I got my handy dandy coffee over here. But yeah, man. Let's get right to it, man. Derek Reese, man. What brought you to the podcast? Besides me inviting
Besides you inviting me, I think it's a good platform. Of course, YouTube's been a space for a plethora of ideas to come to light. I mean, I grew up with the YouTube era, and so now the podcasting and this different way of media communicating with the world, it's great. So for folks like you to have military podcasts, it's good just for the younger guys in the organization to come, or just anyone in the organization involved, active or not, come and share some knowledge, whatever the case is. But yeah, just kind of share. If I could touch a heart of one person on the other side of the camera, that's mission accomplished.
Yeah. Now, something I do wanna talk up on because I messed up your rank. I honestly thought that you were a sergeant.
No,
That's my
we'll
mistake.
get into that.
Yeah, well, we definitely gonna get into that, and then we're gonna backtrack to see your early beginnings in the Marine Corps. Now, obviously 6 sergeants. What's your MOS?
3531 motor transport operator.
Motor T. What? You're Motor T, huh?
Yeah, and it's funny because I had a gunnery sergeant. I'm just gonna use the name because he's a good guy. Gunnery Sergeant Angulo, now Master Sergeant Angulo. He just did not like when folks would use motor T because it comes with a negative connotation, like like we're not smart. But
Well, are you guys? That's it.
So I think in every MOS there's smart people, there's dumb people,
True.
right? So, but it comes.
But Motor T is consistent though.
There's a lot.
You get infantry guys, and then the infantry guys is like a 50-50.
I met some questionable guys in the MOS, but I always try to tell people we're just Motor T.
You look like a smart guy though. And
thank
for
you.
all of you assholes out there because I did a clip with who was it? With Ian the Ocampo. And then he said that he got a 90 on the ASVAB, and I said like, you look smart.
I'm sorry,
The recruiter. And it's like, you look smart. And a lot of people were like, oh, what does that mean that he looks smart?
Oh,
you
'cause
look
Asian.
presentable. No. He's not because he's Asian. You
Okay.
see? What the hell, dude? Wow. We gonna go there. No. I said because he looks presentable.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you look well cut, well
Thank you.
shaven, good haircut. You look
Thank
like a squared away guy. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's what I meant, that he looks smart. You look smart as well.
Thank you.
So maybe you are like the top 1% of the Motor T people. But what happened? Because obviously 6 years and a corporal, like that's not that you face any type of adversity. What happened there?
Plenty of that. So we can talk about it and we can go back, but let me just go with the main factor of why I'm a corporal, a 6-year corporal, is because in 2022, I got a DUI on Camp Pendleton, which was better than getting an off base. But yeah, just long
What do you
story-
mean by that? Because I don't know if you know, there's this other TikToker out there that's called, his name is Luke Hamilton. He's going through it right now.
He is. I know who he is. I don't know who he is. I know because
You know of
the
him,
internet.
yeah.
The internet. He has good points and he has points that I don't agree with, but I can't knock him because he has a following and he has people that are interested in what he says. So that's good for him. But yeah, he's going through it with his thing. So
Yeah, his chain of command just don't like that he outranks them in social media.
yeah. I hear you guys talk about that all the time.
Yeah, that's what happens.
Yeah.
Okay, but so you got a DUI.
Yes.
In
2022.
2022. But and you're Motor T.
Right. Which is like, what are we doing here?
Yeah. So talk to me a little bit more about that. How did that affect you?
For the first couple days, the head hangs low. The first few hours, it's this feeling of shame almost because in the back of the squad car with the cop arresting me, I'm handcuffed. I'm like, okay, I let my command down, people above me and people below me, people that expect me to hold myself to the things that come with being a Marine. Every weekend, every Friday, you get the weekend Liberty Brief. Don't drink and drive. Don't drive and drink. Call somebody if you need somebody. all this stuff. We hear it every Friday. And then for a young corporal to make that mistake, I'm like, okay, I let everyone down. The gunny, the XO, the CO, first sergeant, like, it just sucks. And I'm in the back of the squad car, like, hands cuffed. And I'm like, shh. At the time, I had orders to Marine Security Guard. January. That's the only reason my Marines were in 2-9 executing MWX ITX, and the career planner had called me back, Ruiz, we need you back to execute the freaking final PFT or the PFT so you can do the medical portion.
Yeah.
And so they took their resources, the government's resources really, to get a Govy, drive it to 2-9, pick me up, drive me back, pull me out of the field so I can execute a PFT, so I can go and do the Lord's work at Marine Security Guard, Quantico. Like I said, I had orders, and that same weekend that they pulled me back, I got the DUI. But it's funny how the story goes. I was sitting on my toilet. This was the 4-year anniversary of me being in the Marine Corps.
So you just had re-enlisted?
I re-enlisted in July of 2022. The DUI occurred on October 22nd.
Now, let me pause you there. Because this is something that I don't know why there's always a trend of Marines around that time. It's either Marines when they're about to get promoted,
Okay.
or they recently got promoted,
Right.
or Marines that just re-enlisted. Or are about to re-enlist. That's usually and I don't mean, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. For the Marines that have gotten NJP'd for either DUI or something, did your DUI or NJP occur you being close to that any of those time frames that I just mentioned? Let me know in the comments, because I'm really curious, man. Really, really curious of knowing like what the stats are on that.
Well, for me, I had been rolling the dice for years. And this is kind of, this is interesting because we had talked about this prior to the start. The alcoholism in the organization, Marine Corps, the alcoholism within United States, but specifically the Marine Corps. Every time a Marine gets behind the wheel, I'll talk to the camera. Every time a Marine gets behind the wheel under the influence of alcohol, you're rolling the dice. And you may have gotten away with it a dozen times, 24 times, all these times, but it just takes that one. And the thing with doing things under the influence of alcohol is you get better with repetition. Take beer pong, for example. You try to play beer pong sober. Some people play beer pong better when they're under the influence. It's because it's one of those games where drinking is involved. So when you when you're behind the wheel drunk, the more you do it, the better you get. The better you get, the better you get. And like, you kind of think you're Superman. Take a young buck, testosterone, Marine in your young 20s, you think you're invincible. So driving behind the wheel with a couple, beers in your system, you're like, this is easy day. Yeah. I had drove from San Diego to Camp Pendleton, went through the gate per usual. CAC, hey, good evening, good morning, brother. It's morning at the time. Oh, have a nice night. Thank you, bro. Boom, and then downhill from there. But yeah.
Okay, man, that's something.
Yeah,
that is something. So, one question that I have is, how did your chain of command treat you during that time frame?
With respect, I know my command at the time was filled with top-notch guys, like really guys that I looked up to, guys that I hung around, looked up to. And so, my CO at the time, Captain Incho Hall, a really good Marine, the best 03 commander I've ever had. He's amazing.
You were in an 03 command?
Well, the battalion, headquarters battalion we had a colonel, of course, but truck company at Camp Pendleton, we had, the captain and the first sergeant. So
yeah,
he was a captain. So the captain brought me in with the first sergeant, the three of us.
Oh, 03 as an 03 captain. I thought it was 0311, my bad.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Or 0302, I'm sorry.
Freaking they wanted to know like what my plan was as far as the MSG thing is out of the books.
Yeah.
Okay. So the captain at the time, he's like, well, you can't go to MSG. So he basically just reassured me that things were going to be okay and we just have to get over it. I had already re-enlisted, so I was like on my way out. So the following months in my head, I'm like, dude, I have to get out of this company because this company that I was at, I was there from 2019 to 2023. It's a long time.
Yeah.
And so it's like, dude, like I re-enlisted because I wanted to do MSG. And now that just got stripped away from me because I made a stupid decision.
Yeah.
So kind of going back, for the folks at home, every time, I'm going to say it again, every time you get behind the wheel under the influence of alcohol, you're rolling the dice. You may think you get away with it once, it's fine, but just like I tell my Marines now, is like, dude, call me, call Uber, Lyft. We have all these resources. Uber, Lyft is good because if I called it Uber or Lyft, it would have been $100 out of my pocket. But I would have saved literally thousands because I hired an attorney to take care of me off base. So thousands of dollars in attorney fees. Your rank's gonna get stripped away if you get caught battalion level NJP. And on top of that, just the rank, the pay, and the fees.
Now you're recovered. You sound very composed when you say that, man. Like, and I'm guessing, and I'm not guessing. I'm making a very educated assumption that this wasn't the highest part of your life.
Oh no.
You know, like you were, I can guarantee that you were going through some shit. There were some, and specifically just re-enlisted, you were like, fuck, man, I got 4 other years of this fucking bullshit.
Yeah.
And we're going to touch upon, you know, Marines that get in trouble, NJP for DUI or any other stuff of getting NJP. And then they keep getting those things getting held over their head for their entire career.
Yeah.
Has that happened to you?
So I'm on my 4th command now. I know that Marines above me, whether it's the gunny, the first sergeant, or whoever, can kind of look at my, you know, under my MOL and see, oh, this thing happened way back then. I don't know if they do that because when I checked into my next command after the command I was at where I got the DUI, they were like, okay, hash mark, Lance Corporal, 5 ribbons. Like, what are we doing here? Like, haircut looks cool. Like he just seems like a regular guy. Like, what's with the Lance Corporal? So I'm not going around, hey, I'm Lance Corporal Reese. By the way, I got a DUI, you know, X months ago. That's why I'm a Lance Corporal. Which is, your question, did people hold it over me? I don't know because I try to get out of truck company.
And in your command, they haven't.
No.
In your new command.
When I checked into the comm school, so Marine Corps Communications, Marine Corps Communications Electronics School, 29 Palms. I got there. There was a staff NCO who I recognized who was a prior Coyote. So we kind of hit it off, and he was like, "Dude, like let's just get you promoted." And he was a good staff NCO. He's still at 29 Palms. Staff Sergeant Chongerlides, or Shongerlides, Staff Sergeant Chong. I say that because he vouched for me, and he sees that that I was a good dude, and I think that kind of helps. So no,
Well,
to answer your question, no one's ever been like, oh, DUI, like,
Okay.
you suck.
Okay, but I get that. Do you feel that the reason why that has happened to you is because of your demeanor and your character? Or is it because you just got lucky and just got, you know, good chains of command?
Okay.
Which I don't think that for a fucking second, by the way. I don't think that you've gotten good chain of commands. I personally think that it's the way that you carry yourself.
I think
Me
that-
personally.
that
And I've
probably
known you for like a full 5 minutes. How long has this podcast been rolling?
Almost 20.
20 minutes. So I've known you for 20 minutes. Okay? So I've known you for 20 minutes. So I personally think it's your character. So what advice would you give to those Marines that are going through adversity right now?
Yeah.
And they are saying, fuck the Marine Corps, screw this, my chain of command fucked me, I don't want to be in anymore. What advice do you have for them? Because obviously, even though you went through it, you are now fully recovered. So what advice do you have for them?
The same advice I'll tell, like, actual Marines that asked me the same question. Because Marines, after I did my thing, Marines, unfortunately, they still, like, Marines continue to, I'm not like the last and final DUI. Marines continue to get
Yeah.
DUIs. So they asked me the same question you're asking me. My answer to them and my answer to you is, let the emotions come through. These are natural, like, human emotions. Okay, a little bit of shame, a little bit of regret. People say don't have regrets or no regrets, but we'll skip past that. So a little shame. Let these emotions come over you, whether that's a day, 2 days, I'll say 3 days tops. Like, okay, be down in the dumps, whatever. You sucked a little bit that day. Now it's time to, okay, pick your head up. Who am I? I'm Derek Ruiz. What do I bring to the table to the platoon? What do I bring to the table to the company? All these things, I'm still Derek Ruiz. I'm still, the Marine I am, or the human I am. You can't sit and lament and just, be down in the dumps forever. So like I said, like, take a day or two and just let the emotions come and then snap back in, re-zero, and get back in the fight. Like, that's really all you can do. Why would I be like, if I had 6 months on contract or 12 months left on contract, dude, those are 6 or 12 months to still, I think the last name goes there, last name, to your last name means something. So you can't just throw it all away because you made a silly mistake like a DUI. Take into account my particular case was, I got pulled over. I didn't hurt anyone. I didn't hurt myself, which is like a gift from God all in itself. So you just have to get back in the fight. If just ask yourself, what do I bring to the table? And then continue to be the good Marine. Because I know Marines that got a DUI weeks after I got mine. I'm like, dude, like, you're such an asset to the platoon. Just keep doing what you were doing before. Like, I'll help you. I'll get you. Here's my attorney's number. You just pay him a little money. He's gonna help you out. Like, that's all it is. Like, you just have to get over it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, what I'm really interested, since we've talked about this and we honed in for this for about 25 minutes, and honestly, it's because I didn't know. Like, I was like, oh shit, like Sergeant, Corporal. Okay, I wanted to find that out because I know the people at home were gonna be asking those questions, so might as well answer them right away. Now, you said that you're originally from California.
Yes.
Is this who you always been? Who were you before you joined the United States military?
A while back, before my grandma passed, my grandmother, Socorro Ruiz, she gave me this bookmark. It says Derek, and it's like one of these things where it says your name and it tells you what your name means. So it says Derek Ruler. I mean, you could look up the meaning of Derek. I think per Google, it's like leader or ruler. So I keep this little bookmark. I'm like, that's kind of tight. After I graduated high school, I was on the track team for 4 years. I was a pole vaulter, the track event, boom. And immediately I coached the following season. So I graduated and I coached for a year before I joined the Marine Corps. And even when I wasn't a coach, like my my junior and senior year, I was like telling the guys what to do because we didn't have a coach. Pole vaulting coaches, if you guys know, are hard to come by. So I feel like I've always been kind of in a leadership type of deal. And I think it is something that comes naturally to me. So your question, who was I? Yeah, I think I've always had a little bit of leadership capabilities within myself.
Okay, and how do you meet your recruiter?
Oh, he's a good guy. He was just doing his job.
Did you go into the recruiting office?
No. These guys came to my...
Okay, good.
Yeah,
see, when Barry's
school.
not here, we got a guy that actually got recruited, didn't actually go to the office. So take that, Barry.
Exactly. So there's two stories. It's like, people are like, oh, why'd you join? There's the short one and the long one. I'm gonna give you the short one. Why did I join? Is because my recruiter did his job. They would come to my high school. I remember freshman year, they would come with a pull-up bar. I was good at pull-ups, like really. Like I remember freshman year, I did 17 pull-ups. Boom. Sophomore year, pull-ups. Junior year, pull-ups. The junior year is when they got me. Did my pull-ups, and he's like, "Oh, you can't do pull-ups." I mean, I wanted to. We're in the middle of the quad. I mean, there's like 500 students, and when you see young Derek like doing pull-ups, like, "Oh, dude, I didn't know you can do that." I was like kind of the center of attention type of guy, so I wanted to do the pull-ups just to do the pull-ups because I'm good at them. And oh, you can't do pull-ups until you write your information. Okay, email, phone number, whatever. Execute the pull-ups. Probably hit like 20 something. Got down. I want to say a day or two later, hey, this is Staff Sergeant Triplet at the time. Shout outs. Hey, this and you said you did the pull-up, blah blah. I just want to give you the rest is history. That was junior year.
Okay, but you waited a year. Why do you wait a year?
Good question. In the beginning of my, I'm sorry, it might have been, yes, the beginning of my senior year, I broke my leg, my right. So tib fib fracture. I have hardware. I have a titanium rod in my leg from my doggone ankle to my knee.
Did your recruiter know that?
At the time, no, but of course, it only took one visit to the office to be like, hey, like I got this thing. Oh, no worries.
No worries.
Yeah.
See how they brush it off so quickly?
Dude, when I show up to MEPS, my MEPS package thing that you have to
Oh,
carry is
damn.
like thick. And I got to MEPS and they're like, oh, we know who you are. Like they got there like, oh, we know who you are. And I'm like, okay, because I guess there was so much back and forth about my hardware. But so why did I wait? Is because I felt like I wasn't ready because I would try to do the IST, the one and a half mile, the IST, and I'm like, dude, I suck at running. And I did suck, and I was leaning on this whole injury, but all it really took was to get more reps in, and I just needed to run more. Of course, I was working at In-N-Out. So after I graduated, I worked at In-N-Out for a year, and still kind of worked on my leg. Kind of, I was like wishy-washy with it.
Okay.
And so I remember one day, In-N-Out La Mirada, shout out 105, In-N-Out. I was there working the drive-thru. I'm just working, just looking at the whatever. Here comes Staff Sergeant Triplet in the blues, pulls up to my work. Okay, good guy right here. And dude, we had been back and forth for like 17 months at this point because sophomore year to that point, it had already been 17 months. Imagine me like doing these pulley functions for months on months. Like we have guys that have came to the office, the daggone RSS, went to boot camp, hit the fleet, did all this stuff, and I'm still there in my hometown. So Staff Sergeant Triplet, I think he's a gunny. So Gunnery Sergeant Triplet showed up to In-N-Out in the blues, and I'm like, oh shoot. He basically told me, he's like, what are we doing? Like, are we doing this thing or not? I was like, yes, Staff Sergeant, let's do it. And then I think a week or two later, I was like, I really got the ball rolling again and just left. Yeah. So.
Oh, okay. Wow, that's what happens when you need to make mission.
Yeah.
You need to go to In-N-Out and you need to get the fucking people out of work.
Show
and you
up
need
to
to
the
get them
guy's
to
work,
a list.
yeah.
You need to get them to a list. Okay. So you joined. What year do you go to boot camp?
2018.
2018.
Mm-hmm.
Any crazy boot camp stories?
Yeah.
That you can share with us?
We could do one. I got a drill instructor fired.
Oh,
Yeah.
what happened there?
Yeah.
This is interesting. Whack, whack, whack. No, it's not whack, whack. Dun, dun, dun.
So I got a drill instructor fired. Of course, Barry knows all about the T-Day 32 test. Do you remember the T-Day 32?
I have no fucking clue.
Yes. So on training day 32, there's a test.
Okay. Like a written test?
Both. So there's a written test with like 50 or 100 questions, something crazy like that.
Okay.
And then there's the prac app where you're doing, tea time
Oh,
of
yeah,
day,
yeah.
all this crazy stuff, right? So 2 portions of the test. Out of the entire company, which is 6 platoons, talking 500 recruits, right? Something like that. I want to say like 17 out of the 500 recruits failed these T-Day 32 tests. And so they called the 17 recruits. And
Were you one of them?
yes, I was one of the recruits that failed the T-Day 32 test. So out of the 17 guys, it was like, okay, you either failed the prac app or you failed the written. Okay. Guess who failed both portions?
Oh, no.
Right. So I failed both portions of the T-Day 32 test. I'm not stupid. Okay. Except it just wasn't clicking. Like none of it was clicking. For me, out of 500 guys, like I failed both portions. it's a little funny, a little embarrassing, but yeah, I failed both portions of the TDA 32 test.
Okay. Do you feel that has anything to do why you ended up in Motor T?
So
It could have a slight indication of the reason why you ended up in Motor T.
I'm just not a good test taker. But after that, so the drill instructor that's in charge of the knowledge, I don't know what they call him.
Yeah, the knowledge chat. Yeah. Well, you
Yeah.
went to MCRD San Diego. I'm
Yes, I
guessing.
did. Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
And so this guy, I'm not gonna say his name, whatever. He pulls me to the side. He's like, looking me in my eye. He's like, I just want you to know you're the stupidest effing recruit I have ever met.
Crazy.
And I'm like, dude, I'm
crazy.
stupid. You're the one that's in charge of getting the information to my freaking brain housing group. You failed. I'm stupid because you failed. So his situation was we would go over the test material.
Okay.
All the recruits are sitting down, and like every time you had a question, I don't even know what the questions were back then. It's like, oh, who's the first female Marine? And it's like, he'd be like, does anyone have a question? You raise your hand. Whatever, drill instructor, sergeant, whoever. Who's Alpha May Johnson? You don't know who freaking Alpha May Johnson? Like, he would blast us for not knowing. It's like, dude, take the bell off for a second and let us know like the information. So I didn't even want to ask the dude questions. I was just like, dude, I just sent it on the test. But he got going forward, graduation day.
Okay.
He had an 8-point on. So they stripped his campaign cover, gone. So that was the last
Because you failed both tests?
No, I mean, look at it like this. He failed as the knowledge hat.
True, but I don't
Out
know
of
if
five-
that's
out
I
of
don't know. I
500.
mean, for all the drill instructors out there,
Yeah.
it's a recruit failing both tests, both the prac app and the written test, enough for you to get fired. Matter of fact, we can get Tony, because he's here. And he can probably answer that question. Tony was a drill instructor. I don't know. I mean, and that would be a good question for Barry as well. I don't know if that's enough for.
I mean, they took his campaign cover at graduation day. He was there looking like a sorry fellow, but it is what it is.
Wow. Okay. So and then after that, you went to MCT.
Oh yeah.
Any
MCT.
eventful happen in MCT, or was it just like a quick, there and gone?
Quick there and gone. Nothing.
Okay.
Nothing really.
Nothing. And then let's talk about this real quick.
Yeah.
Motor T school.
Mhm.
Does it look like a NASCAR track?
No.
How does
What
Motor
do you mean
T
by that?
like it's like, because think about it, there's two types of Motor T. You got the mechanics,
Right.
and you got the drivers,
Operators. Yeah.
operators.
Well, some are drivers, some are operators.
Okay, explain. 'Cause
Yeah.
I don't know.
Can you operate that tactical vehicle that you're behind the wheel of? If you can operate it, like the functions and capabilities of that vehicle, yeah, you're an operator, right? Can you
Okay,
flat tow
that
the
makes sense.
Vic? Can you flat tow a 7-ton with the 7-ton? These type of things, or if you're a driver, you're just like anyone could be a driver, but not
Yeah.
everyone can operate a vehicle.
True. Okay. True. I like that. I like that. But in reality, what are some of the things that you go through in 7-ton and not 7-ton in Motor T school? It's like another left turn.
Yeah. So, oh my gosh, I wanted to get out of Missouri so bad. It was just so cold. But in short, you learn the capabilities of the Humvee, or they don't do Humvee anymore, the 7-ton and the LVSR and the 593 trailer, just, different modes. What do these different buttons do? And these are things that 3531s need to know because we're the subject matter experts. And these are not things that we teach incidental operators.
Yeah.
So like anyone can come get their Humvee license, but they don't know within the best thing about MOVOC which is the course at the schoolhouse, is you're going up this crazy terrain, and really the instructors are putting you through the paces and putting the paces through the truck. I don't know if that makes sense, but they're really showing taking you through crazy trails. So you learn, okay, this is a 7-ton, but it's a really capable 7-ton. Like this vehicle weighs thousands and thousands of pounds, but like I can do a lot with it. So it's good.
Okay. When you were getting your orders,
Yes.
you saw that you got orders to Camp Pendleton. how did you end up getting orders to Camp Pendleton? Like were you like top 10% of your class? What was your
You're talking to the two-time failure. I wasn't top.
Got you. No, but you know what? In Motor T though, what I've noticed in Motor T is like what most Motor T operators lack up here, they make it up in muscle. For some reason. Like for some reason, it's like I've had arguments with Motor T people. And they were like, when you can tell that I've intellectually outsmarted them, they go like, well, I can whoop your ass. Does that happen? Yes, it does. It does. Be honest.
Motor T is such a huge MOS, and
it is.
believe it or not, it's highly competitive because the number.
Yeah, the numbers.
So I've met all types of folks, like literally folks that are on the spectrum that shouldn't. I'm not gonna say
on a spectrum
that shouldn't be in. I'm not gonna say that they shouldn't be in because everyone's an asset. I think they can be, but like I've met some crazy like devil dogs.
Okay, what's the crazy? Because dude, listen, I was in artillery my first 4 years, right? And there is the two hardest working type of Marines that we had were 0811s, you know, field artillery cannoneers, the one that actually are in the gun line.
Cannon cockers.
And the very close second was the Motor T people. Like those dudes will not stop working because in artillery, we had a saying, is shoot them till they break. And that saying, we applied it to everything. If the 7-ton wasn't working properly, we were going to drive it until it broke. So with that fundamental, we applied everything. We applied that to everything. So the Motor T guys were always working. Yeah. What is your craziest Motor T story that you can share with us?
Craziest Motor T story. The MOS is not sexy, you know, intrinsically. It's just get behind the wheel, go, you know, move this. So as far as crazy stories, it's just
no, y'all got some crazy ass stories.
I can't
listen. I can tell you a crazy ass story.
Okay.
From again from me as an 0811, but it had to deal with Motor T. So we were in the field. It was like a 1 week field up that we were at. It was a backyard shoot here in Camp Pendleton. And they called index, and we were on the way back to 43 area, which is Las Pulgas. And somebody had the fucking bright idea to cut through the fire breaks. Now, if you guys have never been through a fire break, it's like sand. It's like super loose gravel, technically, right? So we were going and we were booking it, dude, because, you know, we just wanted to you know, finish everything. We had to go to the wash racks. We had to clean all the gear. So when you get out of the field, it's not just as simply like, oh, we're done turning in the weapons and then we go home. That's not what happens at all.
Right.
So you have to go take the 7-tons to the wash racks. You got to clean the howitzers as well. You got to SL3 the gear. You got to make sure that everything is clean. And then you put everything nice and organized. And then you stand in formation for about 3 hours. And then you can go home.
Yes.
So we already knew this. So it was like 11 o'clock in the morning or whatever. And we were going down this fire break. I think it was like 30, 45 miles per hour in a 7-ton downhill. Now, what had happened is that they were not following the correct distance. I think I was in the back of a 7-ton. So, dude, somebody's like a Humvee in front of us smacked on the brakes, and it's a Humvee, right? So it's not nearly as heavy as a 7-ton. So the 7-ton hit the brakes, and then and then it started to slide. So it slid.
See, he's a driver.
Sideways.
He was a driver. He wasn't an operator.
So he slid. Oh well, dude. Hey, Corporal Ash. I'm never gonna forget his name. Dude, this dude saved our life. You think I'm kidding?
Okay, go.
You think I'm kidding? Because we were there was like 7 to 10 of us in the back of the 7-ton, along with like all the gear. All the gear was loose.
It's a no-no.
Everything. It's a no-no. But this is what happens in artillery.
Okay.
So we were all back there. The truck slid sideways, and the only reason why it didn't keep rolling, like it didn't flip over and kept rolling on the side of the hill, was because the howitzer was attached to the back, through the pintle. So we were in how many tires does it have? I know it wasn't all tires went on even on the
6.
ground.
Yeah.
So we had to have at least 3 of the tires off the
Yeah.
ground, and the 7-ton was elevated, right? So, dude, I'm like scared fucking shitless for my life. The battery gunny runs out and then he starts screaming at us. And then I was a dumbass fucking either a Lance Corporal or Corporal, I can't remember. It was like, Gunny, should I jump? He told me, bitch, get the fuck off the 7-ton. Dude,
Was it still rolling? I mean, was you guys still moving?
No, we were
Stopped.
we were stopped, but it was kind of like dangling, dude. The only reason why the 7-ton is because the driver was stepping on the brakes. That's the only reason why the 7-ton wasn't moving.
Yeah.
Because the driver was stepping on the brakes. So, dude, we all jumped. I'm talking about like because it was elevated. It was kind of like this. The 7-ton had to be like at least like 8 to 9 feet off of the ground. So, dude, full combat load. I jump out, and I think that's when my knees. I think that's when I started having knee problems. Cause, dude, I hit the ground and then I rolled and then I got out of there, bro. We were there until probably like 8 o'clock at night. And can you believe this entire time, the driver could not get off the 7-ton because if he got off the 7-ton,
Weight shift.
weight shift, not only weight shift, he would have to step off of the brake, and then if the truck moved, it would roll, howitzer and everything.
What the heck?
That's I look at it back now, and that's probably like one of the closest times that I've been to death, and I didn't even realize it.
While the guy was behind the wheel, the truck was on its side. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah. He was on the driver's side.
Yeah.
And the truck was like this, so he couldn't get out. Like we had to take he had to take off his because he was like drenched in sweat. Like I'm talking about like completely drenched in sweat because it's hot as fucking shit in those 7-tons.
Yeah.
So yeah, dude, that's probably one of the craziest freaking stories of me having to deal with Motor T, and we had to get a wrecker out there, and then the wrecker couldn't get there because the gravel was super loose. So we had to do like a bunch of stuff. Hey Tony, come here real quick. Hey, give him that mic real quick. Give him that mic. Hey, we got Tony off the camera. Tony, I got a question for you. So we got Derek here. Derek is today's guest, and he failed both. Actually, I'm gonna ask him a question. I'm gonna have him guest. Okay. So he failed the prac app for training day 32. That's the day, right? The training day 32 prac app and the written test in boot camp.
Okay.
What do you think his MOS is?
A grunt.
No, but I like the way you think. No, he's Motor T. Okay, but the question was, he said that his drill instructor got fired because he was the only one in the company that failed both tests. You was an experienced drill instructor.
Yes.
Is that something that can get a drill instructor fired?
It won't get a drill instructor fired, but if there's the responsibility of the green belt drill instructor, okay, is to make sure that you get trained with your practical application, right? Yeah. Typically, that's the person that is training. The EDI, which is the experienced drill instructor, or the heavy, that's the one that teaches drill. But the senior's overall responsibility is to make sure that he has oversight over the EDI and the third and fourth hat, right? You remember that, right? Is this sounding familiar?
Oh, yeah.
The kill hat, all he does is IT.
Right.
Then the person above him is the one that's usually giving y'all a practical application. Which one got fired?
The dude that was responsible for the knowledge.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the one right above the one that was ITing and yelling and spitting and all that stuff.
Yes, I think so.
If he got fired because you was the only one in the company, it was probably because
It probably had to be like repeat offenses
Stuff
there.
happening prior.
He probably got. You mean got relieved or he got put in a different platoon?
He had a 8-point
Soft
cover.
cover.
Yeah, he had an 8-point cover.
On graduation day. So he disappeared. I mean, that was the last day.
After that, he
that was the
disappeared?
last day I saw him.
Okay.
And then
okay.
graduation came around and like, oh, dude, so-and-so was at the corner. Like, he was there. And he was wearing an 8-point. So no more campaign, 8-point only.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's probably the drill instructor did something much more egregious to get fired. So they probably told you it's because you failed, but I promise you that wasn't the reason.
Well,
Yeah.
they didn't even say, oh, you guys remember so and so. Like the hats never came out and said, oh, this guy had to leave because he just disappeared and no one talked about it.
But you got to think about it like this: it could be he got a DUI. He could have got an
Yeah.
allegation from a recruit.
Right.
Yeah.
If he got a soft cover on, that means he did something stupid.
Yeah,
It's not because
he's under investigation.
That's correct.
It's under investigation. Thank you, Tony. I appreciate
Absolutely.
you. I appreciate you. So now we know. Now we know.
I don't know.
Yeah, now we know. Now going back to the subject that we were that we were talking about. That's what I think, because I completely forgot what the hell was it that we were talking about.
Crazy Motor T stories.
Yeah, so that was my craziest Motor T story. I don't know. Has anything like that happened to you?
So I'm gonna say that's an operator error. I mean, if I had a heavy trailer like that individual that you're talking about, operating that 7-ton. Okay, first of all, Marine Corps lives in the back. So now you're transporting the Marine Corps' most precious asset, i.e., the Marine. You said there were 7 Marines in the back of the truck.
7 to 10, yeah.
This is not
remember.
nothing to play with here. This is human lives we're talking about. So, addition to these 7 human lives, the big old heavy cannon, howitzer, right?
Yes.
Dude, fire break, heavy trailer, Marine lives, and you say this dude was pushing 35 or 30 miles per hour down the hill. Come on, guy. Like, what are we doing here? So,
I mean, everybody was doing it though. It was the entire convoy.
yeah, I mean,
And we had a big convoy. We had 4 guns, and
so yeah,
the
I would-
CO's Vic. The CO was there. I mean, somebody had to approve this shit, you know?
it's failure on the leadership's part because anyone, bro, that's just too fast. It sounds too fast for me.
I mean, it felt fast, but we
Yeah.
all wanted to get the fuck home. But I mean, that's just me. That was just the craziest. That was just the craziest. And I don't think I've ever shared that story here on the podcast. But yeah, man, that's some crazy shit. Now, well, how much time we got?
We're 47 minutes. Right?
Hey, guys, we're gonna do a part 2 because I want to get into it. I want to get into it with Derek. Obviously, we talked about your first 4 years as a Marine.
A little bit.
What I want to know now, right, is obviously you had adversity in your career. I want to keep talking about that adversity.
Oh, yeah. There's more.
Oh man, there's more. So, Derek, where can people reach out to you at?
You can get me on Instagram at Ruiz Derek. TikTok should be Ruiz Derek Official. YouTube, just type in my name, Derek Ruiz. But yeah.
Awesome. Guys, you guys know where to find me. Ramos_Capital in all of my social media. Make sure you guys go to YouTube. If you're in YouTube already, make sure you guys like, follow, subscribe, comment, hit that notification bell so that way you get all the most up-to-date content that we put out. We try to drop episodes every single week. This week, we are releasing one from YRF Tony. He came in twice. We were talking with him last week. That one's getting released this week. Guys, make sure that you guys go like, follow, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.